Hello everyone, this is going to be a quick video to show you how we find our settings for different coins on the Hydrobot. There might be other ways that people find to do this, but this is the way that we've been doing it. So if we load our indicators, so on the Hydrobot and the back tester, just give them a second to load up. Now first of all I'll go into the back tester. We set the back tester up so that it's receiving the right signals from the Hydrobot. We'll enable both of these. And for the first example, I'm going to do what we call a reversals bot. So we need to enable this. I'm going to put the back test date back to January. And I'm just going to put this forward so we're well ahead. So it takes us to the current day. I'm going to go with ×5 leverage. This can be increased later on. When we use 100% of the balance, we need to leave in some for fees. So we'll do that. We don't need to touch this yet because we're doing a reversals. So we'll leave DCA turned off for now. When I do my back testing, I like to find some settings on a single take profit first, and then we move over to trailing to see if we can increase the profit and get it better. So on a 15-minute chart, I normally go for around about, I mean, we can change this again later on once we've found some decent settings, but we're going to go in with a 0.5 take profit, and with the stop loss, we're going to go in with a 5% stop loss. This is because the reversals would close you out most of the time before the stop loss is hit. Just got to change this. We'll do it on a ×10 leverage actually, and I'll explain the leverage to you at some point as well during this video. I like to make change this slightly so we can see it, so it's not too much in your face. And give that a blue colour. Okay, so that is set up. So now if we go into the Hydrobot, what we'll do is we'll move this to the side so we can see this, part here. Click the disclaimer. We can ignore this for now because we're just finding some good settings for now. The reverse signal we've got enabled, and we can click that, but that's only, we only need that for when we actually send signals via an alert. So what I try to do is first I try to find settings for each individual trigger. So first we'll hit the Hydro Super Trend and see what this does. So at the minute we've got 962 closed deals, 499 winning, and 463 losing. So at the minute we've not added any other filters. So we just want to change the signal settings to try and get the best profit that we can. So I normally like to start on an 8 and just work my way up. So we've got to beat 0.44 at the minute, which is our daily, or 100.56 over the 6 months. So that's made it worse. Just another thing that I want to change before we carry on. If we go back into the back tester and we go on the initial capital, I like to make this around £1,000. So it's $1,000. Sorry. So it's easy to work out what we're making. It's more realistic for people's budget. So we go back into here. So 21 was a lot better than 8. So we'll just work our way up. until we find the best settings for this. So if I go quiet, it's just because I'm looking through them and waiting for this to update. I mean, this just takes some time. There we go, 0.55. So we've got better than 0.44 from when this was set to 21. So 15 is our best at the minute on that. And we're doing this on Bitcoin, BTC, USDT, by the way. So there we've got 0.64, 144, 0.62 as a whole. So we can keep going up and seeing where we get to. I mean, we're going to change the ATR factor as well. So we were better on 0.18. So our top mark at the minute is a 0.64 on the daily and a 144.62. So let's change this to 3 and see what that does. No, that doesn't do much. Makes it worse. Let's try a 1. Now that gives us a lot of signals, a lot more than it was before, but it has dramatically increased our profit. So we'll do a 1.5 and see where that gets us. I also like to leave the signals on the current chart that we're trading. So that's I think we'll put that back to a 1. I know there's a lot of signals, but we can filter them out later. Let's just see where that gets us. Yeah, we'll go with that because we get a lot more signals. So when we filter, when we filter, we try and get this down. So we can do, so now for the half trend, we'll turn that off and we'll turn the half trend on, and we'll do the same again. And this won't show you any super trend signals. So we're now just looking at the results for a half trend. So again, we're starting on minus 59.17. So we have a little play with this until we get it to the best that we can. That's made it worse. So try 3. And if any of the signals are not profitable, we don't have to enable them. We've got 4 signal conditions that we can choose from. So not all signals will be good for each coin, but so that's not too bad. That's 143% over the since January. So we'll try 5, see where that gets us. Yeah, no, we'll go back to 4. So I'm happy with that. We'll leave it on that. So we'll turn that one off now, and we'll turn the whip onto VWAP. We have to be careful with VWAP signals because it kind of uses the opposite strategy to the others. So you'll find that sometimes if the price drops, VWAP might show a long signal, whereas the super trend might show a short signal. So we need to just be a bit careful with that. But with it being reversals, it kind of works. So we've enabled, yeah, we've got that enabled. So we have a little play with this. So it's also worth looking into it at what these actually mean, all these settings. I'm not going to go into that today, but you can look at you can look all these different indicators up and see what all these settings actually mean, and that'll help you understand what you're actually putting in here. So that's all right, 244. I'm happy with that. That's a very good win ratio as well. That's excellent. So we'll turn that one off and now turn MA signals on. And we'll see what we get with that. So we've got a minus 38. So if we change this to 100 and this to 350, let's see what that does. Still not the best. Let's try 50 and 200. Still not good. Let's try changing some of the MA type. I do like the WMA. So let's see what that does. Look a bit better, but still not what we want. Do a 10 and a 20. There we go. So that's starting to look a bit better now. Change that to 25, see if we can do a little bit better, 182.2. There we go. Let's try 30, see if we can get it even more. So 212.73. And these numbers is this profit that we're going. Right, so that's dropped again. So we'll keep that on 25 and keep that on 10. So that's all our signal triggers kind of optimized. So if we turn them all on now, we'll get them all on combined on this back tester. So we'll see what that gives us with everything turned on. Because don't forget we've got reversals enabled, so they'll all work with each other. So we've got a 361.88% since January. We've got a win ratio of 46.2. So now we need to try and, what I try and do is try and get this is the losing ratio. So we want to get the win ratio up, the lose ratio down. So what I try and do now is work my way through the filters. So we turn, for a start, turn these on one by one. See what it does to this here. So 361.88. Does it give us a better profit and a better win ratio? I mean, at the minute now, I'm looking at this rather than this. So we want to try and get this better. So what did we have? 378.9. So yeah, 5083.8 here. So we turn it on. Does it get better? Yep, it does. So we'll leave that on. So we'll do the next one. And then we're trying to get this number down. Yep, so that's helped. And then we'll do this one. So we're on 51.34 at the minute. It's gone back up. Try the next one. Yep, that's gone back up. Try that one. And I'm watching this number here. It does that sometimes. So we just click that. When it does that, what I do is just go into this and just untick them and then tick them again. And it should come back on. And same with this. If we click on that, just click that off and on again, and then it should sort itself out. So where were we? So yep, that's not lowered this number. So we'll try another one. Try the next one. Trying to get below 51 at the minute. There we go. So we'll leave that one on. We're at 49.57, and then we'll try the last one. There we go. 41.22. Still not great, and it's really lowered this. So, I mean, for now we might try and turn some of these back off just to see what would happen, because we turned them on first before these, so we can turn them back off and see. Yeah, it's come straight back up. So what we'll do is we'll turn them back on for now, and then we can come back to that once we've added these other filters. Now, I'd only recommend using maybe 3-4 of these, maybe or less. We don't want to use too many because there'll not be a lot of signals. So kind of want to just minimize everything. I mean, we have got a lot of signals from that super trend setting we did. I'm just going to try and we had an alright signal when we had that 21 and that at 2. Let me just see what that does with them filters turned on. There we go. I mean, that's not great, but we've managed to get this down. So what we can do is we can try and turn some of these off. It's all about just having a play around with it and getting the settings to where you want. So, you know, turning half trend off has increased our profit and lowered the non-profitable ratio. So we're on like a 70% win rate there with 157% profit since January, which is all well and good at the minute. So we've turned off the half trend, so we're not using, so we can turn these off, this half trend one off here and this one off here, and see what that does, because those are both half trend filters, which hasn't really helped. So we'll turn them back on. So we're still using the half trend as a filter, but we've just turned the signals off coming from the half trend. Now when we go to the RSI filter, anything we can say that anything over 80 is overbought, so don't buy when the RSI is over 80 and don't sell when the RSI is below 20. And then we can turn that on and see what that does. We still have a lot of signals here, so we can get this, we can increase this by knocking signals off. This is a lot, this will be, a lot of this loss will be coming from reversals. But when we reduce the signals, we'll have less reversals. So just wait for that RSI to kick in. Try again. Maybe we need to change this. Didn't really make much of a difference. Let's put that at 30 and that at 70. It's a bit tighter. And let's turn that on again. That made a huge difference. I normally find that the stochastic filter does quite well. So we'll have to just change I mean, even before changing this, if you look now, we've got an 85% win rate and 157% profit since January again, which is a 0.69 per day. We can get better. Let's just have a change. Let's just change this. Let some more signals through, see where we're at when we've done this. So our buy max is 70 and our sell minimum is 30. There you go. So we've increased the profit, but the win rate is still good. We've still got what is that, 82%. So I think we'll leave that on as it is for now. We've got our 1% a day. And don't forget, this is only a single take profit. We've not turned trailing on yet. We've not played around with the profit limits, and that's only the first filter. We've got 423 signals coming through since January. Only 78 of those lost, and not. I mean, them 78, most of them losers will be from reversals. Not. I doubt many of them would have hit the stop loss. So what we'll do is try and get this down a bit more. So I think what we'll try a higher time frame super trend next. So I'll just go down to the settings on this. So this is the same as, well, this is not far off what we've got now, but there you go. It's got this lower again, but we've gone back down to 0.75 a day. I'm going to change this to a higher time frame though, because at the minute it's not on a high time. We're on the 15-minute chart. Let's try it on the 30-minute chart and see what happens. And we can also play around with these numbers as well. So there we go. Look at that, 88% win rate, 1.59% per day, 219 trades, only 27 losses. I mean, that is quite good. So let's try and do a 45-minute chart, see what that does to it. So 361.81, and yeah, that's not as good. I think we'll stick with the 30-minute because that's quite good. And I think we'll leave that. I'm happy with that at the minute. We can add some more. I mean, 219 signals in 8 months. So let me just see what that works out at. 219 divided by 8. That's around 27 signals a month. So you're going to get around about one a day, maybe just a little bit less. But we could add some more, and I like using this one, the MA above and below filter, so it'll only let buy signals through if price is above the MA, or sell signals if the price is below the MA. Let's just have a little play with that. Go down to the settings. Gone too far. Here we go. So it's not changed much yet because we're on the. So let's try it on the 1 hour, and we'll try 200 WMA and see what that does. Yeah, so we've got like a 95% win rate, 368% since January, and that's on average a 1.62% per day, which is really good. So I'm going to leave these settings at that for now. If you want to, I'll go back to what we've got enabled. So if you want to take some pictures. So we have turned the half trend signals off on this one. Those are the filters that we've got turned on, and then these are the additional filters. So we've got the stochastic, the high time frame one filter, and the MA above and below filter. So there are the stock settings here, and then high time frame super trend settings are there, and then we have the MA settings there. here. So I'm going to OK that, and then I'm going to go into my backtester. So I just want to explain the leverage and why if we've got $1,000 in the account, why we do actually put 980% here. So I wrote some examples down here. Let me just bring this down a bit so you can see it. So if we have an account balance of $1,000 and our base order size is the total amount that you want to risk, and this includes the leverage. So as an example, if we have an account balance of $1,000 and the base order size, the amount that you're willing to risk is 100%. So you're willing to risk $1,000, which is 100%. If you're using leverage and your leverage is times 10, that would give you that would start the trade with $100 at times 10 leverage. So if your trade went into a negative, you would, and it went into a negative of minus 100%, you would lose $1,000. So you're risking 100% of your capital by doing that. But what it does is, if you're using times 10 leverage, $1,000, it'll start the trade at $100, but it'll include the times 10. So it's $100 times 10 leverage. You're trading with $1,000, and that's why you're risking 100% of your account. But that's why you'll notice on your trading account that you've only the trade's only used $100 as your starting amount. Now, with reversals, because we have a stop loss and because we use reverse signals to pull us out of a trade that's negative, we like to increase our account balance. So if our account balance is $1,000 and we want to start the trade with $1,000 and then add the leverage on top of that. So on this example, we're risking 100%. That starts with $100 times 10 equals $1,000. If we want to start with $1,000 times 10 leverage, that's why we'd put our base order size at 1,000%. However, with this, the starting balance of a trade, $1,000 times 10, it means we're trading with $10,000 on this. So the trade would need to go into a negative by minus 10% to liquidate the trade, because you're trading with $10,000 at times 10 leverage, but you only have $1,000 in the account, which is 10%. So if the trade goes into a negative by minus 10%, that will liquidate you. Whereas on this it would need to go to minus 100% if we did it this way. So when you start putting more than 100% on your base order, you need to make sure you're covering yourself with stop losses and reversals, so you're not getting to this minus 10% and stopping yourself out. I mean, if I'll give you another example. If we was on times 5 leverage rather than times 10, this would only need to get to minus 20% to liquidate us. So you can see how that works. The difference between isolated leverage and cross leverage. So on a reversals, we'd use isolated leverage, and some of you might know, or the Ultrabot users, we use cross leverage. So isolated leverage only uses the equity of the initial trade balance. So if we use $1,000 as our base size and it starts going into a minus, it will use the starting balance of $1,000. So it would have to get to a minus $1,000 to liquidate you in this case. Sorry, not in this one. Cross leverage will use your available balance first before then using the starting balance equity. So that's why on our Ultra users, you'll see your available balance go down before you start seeing your equity go down from the trade. This is good. This is better for DCA, and isolated leverage is better for reversals bots. So I just wanted to explain that before we move on. So on this, we are using 980% because we need to leave some in for fees. If you put 1,000 in your Wick Hunter or in whatever platform you use, if you try and use 1,000% of the account balance, it won't trigger because you won't have enough in there for fees. So I always put this at 980 just to leave some in the account. So now I'm going to try and just increase this by changing a couple of different things. So I'm going to start, before we do any trailing, just move this round and see what our best take profit would be. So at the minute we're on a 1.62% per day. So if we move that to 0.6, that increases it to 1.81. So I'm just going to move this on that 0.7. Just move this up and down and see what's the highest figure we can get this to. So we've got a 0.7 there. That's done even better. And we'll move to 0.8. Now we've got to keep an eye on this as well, because this can go back up, as even though we can get more profit, we still like to keep a high win rate, so a low lose rate. I mean, anything above 90% win rate is excellent. So there we go. We've got 2.24 per day, and we're still above our 90%. Let's move that to 0.9. So as you can see, this increased, but this didn't really change. So I'm going to put that back down to 0.8. And we've got a 2.2 when it was 0.9. So I think this stays the same. 2.24, and we've got a 7.96 lose ratio. So 92% win ratio. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so our trailing activation is the 0.8. So we'll make this 0.8 and we'll leave our trailing on 0.1, and we'll change this to trailing and see what that does. So this shouldn't really change much, but there you go, look at that. So we've now got to a 3.23% per day, and that's on our using reversals as well. Now this is using times 10 leverage, so a minus 10% on the account would liquidate the whole account, and our stop loss is only set to 5%. So if it hits stop loss at the moment, it's going to wipe out half of your account balance. So it is worth manually going back and checking if any of them trades did hit the stop loss and how many hit the stop loss. I mean, even if them trades did hit the stop loss, it's had off $1,000 since January. It's still made 7,323, even if some of them did hit the stop loss. But what we've got to avoid is hitting the stop loss on your first couple of trades, because if you hit the stop loss on your first trade straight away, you've lost 50% of your account. I mean, another thing that I'd like to do is if we change the leverage to 5%, which means that then if we're using 100% of the account, this would be 500, but we need to leave some in for fees. So I'd put that at 480. So now if we do it a 5% stop loss, we're only losing 25% of the account. So you can see that it does make less, but it's a little bit less risk. So it's doing exactly the same, but you're not losing as much of your account balance if it does hit the stop loss. But off the back test, the times 10 leverage does make more. But like I say, if we start this and you hit the stop loss straight away, it's not a good start to your trades. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Finding these settings and just saving them. So we'd save that as our BTC USDT Hydrobot, and we'd keep the backtester on. We'd save it and we'd set an alert from this chart. What we can then do is click up here and click copy the chart, or make a new chart and load them on again. Change the coin and have a play with another coin, and we can always play with it on different time frames. And it's all about getting the best settings and optimizing it. Probably optimize it once a month and see what losers you had, see what you could do to see what you could do in the future to stop them losing trades happen, see what happened, what made them lose, and so on. Yeah. We're going to be making a template spreadsheet what everyone can make a copy of, and it'll they can put all of the settings on the spreadsheet, so it makes it easier to share with people on Discord. So they don't need to you won't need to send 100 screenshots of your settings. You can just send the one spreadsheet as a PDF to everyone on your Discord if you do want to share your settings. And we will also be um, doing some. We ourselves will find some template settings on five coins, preferably in the top 10. I think we're going to do BTC, ETH, XRP, TRX, and Doge, depending on the settings we can find. And we'll add these to a spreadsheet as well for people to use as a template. Just bear in mind that these can change because as time goes on, the backtest results will change. So the template settings will be as of from the time that they're created. And we'll try and update them as much as we can, but would also ask that the Discord community, if they do use them, to also try and improve them and update them as well. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you guys, and I'll see you later.